call the Center County Board of Commissioners meeting to order here at 10:01 on Tuesday, April 2nd. All those who are able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, now we have a section for public comment for items not appearing on today's agenda. Does anybody have any comments for anything that's not appearing on today's five-page agenda? All right, we'll move on then. Any additions to the agenda from either commissioner? No?
No, I think we've probably got enough.
Okay,
enough work for today.
Got enough work for today. All right. We'll now consider approving the minutes from the meeting held on March 26th. Any changes needed?
To the best of my knowledge.
Okay,
my
then-
knowledge, no.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting held March 26, 2024.
I will second that.
Are the mics not?
They don't
Okay.
convey over the,
Oh, as strongly as they
System.
used to.
We'll try to
Okay.
talk louder.
We'll
Okay.
speak up. That was
All
just
right.
the minutes, so.
Okay. All right. All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. CNET, are we picking it up on the, okay.
Yeah.
All right, want to
Make it
check.
work.
All right. Now we'll move on to Section 6, announcements. The 2024 Community Development Block Grant Program Application Kickoff Committee Letter, and Tanya from CEDACOG will cover that.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Tanya Collins from CEDACOG. I'm here to announce the beginning of the 2024 Community Development Block Grant Program for Center County. The letter that's to be signed by you today announces the program kickoff and outlines the information required for the CDBG program. To give you a little bit of background on the program, it utilizes HUD funds through the Pennsylvania Entitlement Program, which was enacted by Pennsylvania Act 179. This act requires that the county serve as the local administering agency for these funds for all county municipalities with populations less than 4,000. So there will be a community packet that goes out to those communities as well as nonprofit agencies and organizations. That packet is set to go out on April 19th with a public hearing and workshop on May 9th at 6 p.m. here in this room. And that workshop will be to discuss the activities and proposals that any of the agencies or municipalities have in regards to CDBG funding. The proposals will be due. Complete proposals will be due on May 31st, and all the necessary information with dates and forms and anything else pertinent to CDBG will be included in that community packet that's mailed out on the 19th, as well as my contact information in case there are any questions. We do encourage everyone, though, to come to the May 9th meeting again here at 6 p.m. to discuss any project proposals, get questions answered, and discuss whether CDBG funding would be right for the projects.
Great, thanks, Tanya. Traditionally, the commissioners have used the Community Development Block Grant funds for water and sewer system upgrades in the rural parts of the county, but
Yes.
we recently, I think, gave at least one grant to the Old Greg School in Spring Mills.
Yes.
Because that facility is utilized very heavily and is beginning to have some, would you say,
Wear and
leakage
tear.
issues.
Age and wear.
Age and wear
There it
issues.
is. Yep.
Commissioner Concepcion, anything you'd like to add?
So that meeting is May 9th at 6 p.m. here in this room in the Willow Bank Building?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
Commissioner Dershowitz, anything you'd like to add?
All good.
All right. Great, well, I think that was just sort of informational.
Yes.
We don't need to make a motion, as I remember.
Nope, just
No.
the letter would need signed, the
Okay.
community letter to go out in the packet.
All right,
Okay.
great.
Okay.
We'll do that. Thank
Okay.
you very much,
Thank you so
Tanya.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks for all your
it.
help.
All right, now we'll move on to our proclamations. We have two today. Proclamation number 15 proclaims April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Center County. And we have Jennifer, and is it Ina? Am I even close? Okay. Why don't you come on up to the podium and give us some background about Sexual Assault Awareness Month here in Center County? Obviously, a very important topic.
I think we're going to have a good collection of speakers today, so also as part of Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Yes.
So good morning. Thank you so much for having Center Safe and all of our community partners in to talk about just ways to prevent abuse in all of its forms. This month focusing especially for Center Safe on Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So with April serving as National Sexual Assault Awareness Month, Center Safe and community partners are joining forces to spread education and prevention efforts across the region. Center Safe, which is formerly the Center County Women's Resource Center, has supported victims and survivors of sexual assault, domestic and dating violence, and stalking across Center County since 1975. Center Safe provides free, professional, and confidential services like emergency shelter and housing, counseling, advocacy, accompaniment to the hospital for support during sexual assault exams, a confidential and free 24/7 hotline, outreach, education, legal support, and so much more. Every 68 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted, and every 9 minutes, that victim is a child. In terms of victimization, according to RAINN, which is the Rape and Incest National Network, more than 80,000 incarcerated individuals are sexually assaulted or raped each year. 60,000 children are victims of substantiated or indicated sexual abuse. Nearly 435,000 Americans 12 and older are sexually assaulted or raped, and more than 18,000 military members experience unwanted sexual contact. To bring some of those numbers a bit more local, Center Safe supported more than 200 victims of sexual assault in 2022 alone, not to mention the 900 individuals we supported who've experienced domestic violence, and the 200 individuals and families who sought emergency shelter or housing connected to their trauma. This year marks the 23rd anniversary of Sexual Assault Awareness Month, with the theme this year being Building Connected Communities, a campaign that aims to help us reduce the likelihood of sexual abuse, assault, and harassment in our communities. We oftentimes imagine living in a bubble, but there's a lot of trauma that happens within that bubble. Sexual assault is a devastating abuse of power, one that affects people of every identity. We all hold the responsibility to combat sexual assault, spread awareness, and act. We must work toward a society that upholds every person's right to live free from sexual violence, where our institutions and communities commit to preventing sexual assault, supporting survivors, and holding offenders accountable. For those wondering what kind of difference they can make, there's actually lots of things that people can do. You can visit www.centersafe.org/SAM, SAAM, for the full list of programs and initiatives that Center Safe will be taking part in. Register and attend events, help spread the word, promote on social media. Just set the goal to do one thing each day to make someone's day better. Ask yourself how you can avoid victim blaming and perpetuating stereotypes. Think of one thing you can do to support a survivor. You never know when someone may disclose an act of sexual assault to you. It could come from someone you never thought would ever share such a thing with you. So be thinking about how you talk about these issues even within your own family. How would you react and what would you say if someone disclosed to you? You don't have to have all the answers or say or do things perfectly. Just care and be willing to share resources and knowledge. We all play a role in the problem, and we all get to play a part in the solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Do you have another speaker?
Not from Center Safe, but we have a whole collective as part of both proclamations, too.
All right, are they going to speak toward this one or the second one?
Probably the second one.
The second one.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Well, thank you very much for coming. As you mentioned, Center County does appear to be at a bit of a bubble, especially compared to the rest of our surrounding geography. But even so, I think you said roughly 200 sexual violence victims reported in 2023. Obviously, the true number is probably noticeably higher than that. And then, did you say 800 individuals were assisted in domestic violence situations?
900 just through Center Safe, and that was just in that
900.
1 year.
In 1 year.
900.
And those are just people who come forward to
Yes.
seek that one particular resource. The numbers are much, much higher.
Wow. That's pretty devastating. I'll pass it on to Commissioner Concepcion.
Yeah, thanks for coming in and bringing this to light in terms of the numbers. I mean, I'm even shocked to hear that number of people in 1 year experiencing domestic abuse or violence that are to an extent where, they're accessing your services. And it's just so fortunate that we have an organization like Center Safe in our community. I know that the services that you provide to people who are in crisis, that it's just really invaluable. I've known, a number of people who've told me their firsthand experiences. accessing services at Center Safe and what a difference it made to their journey as they were putting their lives back together or working through the legal system here in Center County, and that the expertise and all of the support that you're able to provide is just really makes an enormous difference. Yeah, I think it's important for us to understand that these circumstances don't know class or race or, education level. These things happen across all areas of society, unfortunately. So
Absolutely.
being aware of that this, services exist is really important. And I think Center County government has a really good working relationship with Center Safe in terms of making sure that victims are aware of the services that are accessible there. So thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
Well, this is recognition for 1 month, and we appreciate that, but the year-round, your organization and county government, not only from the prosecutorial side and the judicial side, but many of the service sides are very active. I know we have supported the STOP grant program, the Stop Violence Against Women program for years and years, for decades. And there's so many programs within our organization that we share a collaboration with, and we're really very glad that Center Safe is doing that work out there and make sure that victims are taken care of, but most importantly, awareness and trying to change the cultural mindset that creates an environment for these things. And just appreciate all your time and effort and your organization's diligence in regard to all this. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Jennifer, thanks to you, your team, and all of your dedicated volunteers for the work in this area. Appreciate it.
It's our pleasure.
So I think we could take a motion at this point, unless there's anybody else going to speak on the topic. No? All right.
I will move that we adopt Proclamation 15 of 2024, proclaiming April 2024 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Center County.
I will second that.
We have a motion, a second. All those in favor of adopting proclamation number 15, proclaiming April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Center County, do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Why don't you and anybody else affiliated with you come on up, and we'll take a picture up on social media. And remember, you can leave with the proclamation.
Okay.
We don't keep it.
Thank you. It's okay. I won't take it personally.
Well, we'll move on to proclamation number 16, proclaiming April as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Center County. Obviously, an area of large concern to the county commissioners, depending on whether you count the number of employees or the amount of revenue. Children and youth is always number one or number two across our 52 different departments in the county. So probably start with Leah, and then you bring up everybody else that you'd like to have come up front with you.
I'm actually not going to speak today.
Oh, all right.
It'll be our staff from, actually one of my staff, but then also our partners with the Better Together collaboration. So they will talk about how we join efforts in preventing child abuse and neglect throughout the county.
Thanks. How you doing? So, child sexual abuse is a complex problem. It requires complex solutions. And we like to say that it takes a collaborative community effort to prevent it. So that is why we've came up with the Better Together collaboration, which consists of the Center County Youth Service Bureau, the YMCA of Center County, Center Safe, Children and Youth Services, and Mount Nittany Health's Children's Advocacy Center. So we meet regularly to come up with new ways to engage the community and to prevent abuse and to raise awareness. And we are ending we're ending the month on a very positive note with the YMCA's annual Healthy Kids Day. And that's going to be a free community event, open to the community, obviously, and families, and we're going to have some really cool events there. But also, we would like to announce that we have launched the new version of Darkness to Light, Stewards of Children. It's been a long 10-plus years. It's certainly overdue, and that's going to be sponsored by Mount Nittany Health, and it is in partnership with the Center County Youth Service Bureau. And that training is going to remain free and accessible to every adult who works or lives in Center County. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Teresa Kiefer, and I'm with the Center County Youth Service Bureau. Thank you, Commissioners, for allowing us to be here today to speak on behalf of our organizations and the Better Together Collab. As you may know, child abuse is a public health concern that knows no disparity. Commissioner Concepcion, you said there's no disparity between race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, and that is very true with child abuse, which provides a particularly challenging obstacle for organizations to end child abuse. YSB, being one of those organizations, has served as a long-standing recourse for this throughout many of our programs. Most recently, we joined our friends at Center Safe in Project Safe and Smart, a dual program project that provides second graders throughout the county with vital body safety education so that they are able to protect themselves if they're ever in a child abuse situation. Joined with the second program, Smarter Parents, Safer Kids, we were able to provide parents and caregivers with information about their child's healthy sexual development and ways to communicate better to ultimately protect their children from victimization. Throughout these programs, Safe Touches has flourished, garnishing support of 13 elementary schools, which has allowed us to serve more than 600 youth in Center County. We have continued support from them, from those schools, and I trust that these same schools will continue in the future. And we're always looking for more schools to join in this effort. With April being Child Abuse Prevention Month, we'd like to recognize multiple Smarter Parents, Safer Kid workshops that we will have in this month, partnering with the YMCA of Center County, where we hope to engage parents where they are in their communities. We have workshops at each YMCA branch. The upcoming workshops are April 11th from 6 to 8, Spring Mills YMCA at the Spring Mills YMCA, April 17th, 6 to 8 at the Bellefonte YMCA, and April 24th from 6 to 8 at the State College YMCA. Each of these events will be providing childcare and dinner to help eliminate any barriers for parents as they come to join us for these important workshops. Thank you for your time and support, and together we can end child abuse.
So Teresa, for more details on those dinners and childcare, would somebody go to like the YSB website then?
Yes, we have it on the YSB website.
Right.
There's a link, and people can sign up.
Okay, good.
And they can, see that we will have childcare and food. Food brings people together, right? We always have
Yep.
food at a gathering, so hopefully people will join us and really focus on how they can support their children, because it does take a community. Part of why we have stewards of children, we know that the more of the community we can reach, and we believe Smarter Parents will do that as well.
Good. So for more details, Center County Youth Service Bureau website.
Yes, ccysb.com.
Okay. All right. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah,
Just
you're
wanted to-
fine. Before I speak about my part as a children and youth representative, I have the privilege of speaking on behalf of Kim Saltzman. So I'm reading a statement on behalf of Kim Saltzman, the Executive Director of the Mount Nittany Health Children's Advocacy Center, the CAC of Center County. Ms. Saltzman sends her regrets that she couldn't be here in person because she's in Harrisburg being honored as an award recipient of the PA Blue Ribbon Champions for Safe Kids, presented by the Pennsylvania Family Support Alliance. She asked that I send a big thank you to all of you for coming out today in this important reminder about sexual assault and for ensuring children in our community are safe from abuse. The mission of the CAC is to meet the needs of the children and families in our community by providing a community-based, child-focused center that facilitates a compassionate, multidisciplinary approach to the prevention, identification, intervention, and treatment of child abuse. The CAC continues to serve an average of 300 children annually who have been referred to them by Children and Youth Services and law enforcement. This is due to reports of alleged child abuse or neglect. The CAC helps coordinate the child abuse cases in the central Pennsylvania region with team members from Center County Children and Youth Services, local and state level law enforcement agencies, and the Center County District Attorney's Office. We value our partnership with the Better Together Collaborative, which strengthens our community approach in helping anyone experiencing sexual assault and/or child abuse. Composed of amazing team members who are involved in this event today. Again, on behalf of Kimberly and the entire Mount Nittany Health Children's Advocacy Center, thank you for your support, dedication, and recognition of Sexual Assault Awareness and Child Abuse Prevention Month. And good morning again. Today, now I'm going to represent myself as the agency liaison for Center County Children and Youth Services. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with all of you today. I'm here to represent the agency as part of the Better Together Collaborative, and I want to thank the Board of Commissioners for continuing to support the agency and all that we do. With your support, the agency is able to work alongside many service providers who provide education in hopes of preventing and eventually ending child abuse. These service providers help our agency create a village and community that educates the public on how we can prevent child abuse. Together, we can educate our staff and the community as a whole on how to recognize the signs of child abuse and neglect and support parents on learning safe and appropriate ways to interact and raise their children. As a community, we can listen and believe children, support programs that protect children and families with our time and money. We can volunteer with organizations that provide safe places for children and families. We can wear blue today and blue ribbons throughout this month to raise awareness to prevent another child from being a victim of abuse. And everyone can make reports to Children and Youth Services or Childline when we see signs of possible child abuse or neglect. Thank you for supporting Children and Youth Services and all the agencies working together to prevent child abuse. Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate the information and the background. 300 children in Center County is a sobering number. I don't, Press may be able to double check this, but I think we have fewer than 20,000 children in Center County under the age of 18. So this is actually upwards of a couple percent of the children in Center County just this last year were having to go to the Children's Advocacy Center. Thanks again to Children and Youth staff, to Children and Youth supervisors who've been putting in a lot of overtime to cover for shortages. Again, not nearly as bad here as it is in practically every county in the Commonwealth. And of course, for Youth Service Bureau and the many nonprofits the county helps support and signs letters of support for grants, et cetera. I'll turn over to Commissioner Concepcion.
Yeah, thank you for being here to speak on this issue. It's a hard one to talk about, and I think one of the most difficult things that our staff here at Center County has to confront is these issues of, sometimes really horrific child abuse that occurred right here in our community. I think the work that you're doing to educate families and children themselves on what is safe and appropriate and where they can turn to for help is just really critical. One of the things that really impressed me when I took mandated reporter training a few years ago was that when you're an adult working with children and a child tells you something that really makes you feel like there could be something wrong or uncomfortable, it's not your job necessarily to do the investigation and figure out if it's a credible claim. Your job is to call Childline or get in touch with Children and Youth Services. They're the experts who have the ability to investigate those claims, and it's better to go ahead and make a report if you feel there may be an unsafe situation than to try and figure it out yourself, whether that's necessarily a valid claim. That it's better to err on the side of making that call. But thanks for all the work that you're doing, and I would really encourage all of the schools in our community to participate in this project Safe and Smart, because that's really critical for children in any situation, no matter how loving or caring their family is. even if something may come from outside the family, or a child might hear something from a classmate, that something is going on in their home, and it's important for them to know, in which circumstances it's really critical to talk with a trusted adult. So thank you for the work you're doing.
Great advice, Amber. Don't investigate the allegation yourself, please. Call Childline. We have skilled, trained staff who've been doing this for years, even decades, and it's in a comfortable environment for the child, and they try to only do it once, which I know is the best practice. Commissioner Dershowitz.
I think it was mentioned several times about collaboration. Matter of fact, you even had the contraction of collab, and I think that's really what makes Center County pretty special. We've seen our share of allegations and realities in regard to physical and sexual abuse of children. We've got a pretty strong depth of folks on our team here at the county level, folks that now lead up our human service department, the folks that have been here for a long time that head up CYS, and folks that have been here for decades, working together. But whether it's the YMCA or talking about Mount Nittany Health, I mean, we are blessed in so many different ways of providing the services that we need, but it's often an intergenerational problem, and I think breaking that cycle and breaking that scourge that we all see. And unfortunately, as commissioners, we deal with it more than we would like to, because we get a lot of the calls from the folks that are going through this on both sides, and it's been very difficult over the years to hear some of those stories. But it's important for the public to know that there are resources, and there is a process that people need to go through to find the answers to these and get to the truth and get to the bottom of making children safe. And I really appreciate the collaboration that we've brought here to Center County, and it extends well beyond the folks that are just in this room. And we just want to say thank you for everything that you've done, because the children of our community are probably some of the most vulnerable, and because they don't have a really big voice out there, it's important that adults step in and protect them, and I'm really glad that you folks have all dedicated your lives to doing that, so thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Unless there's anything else, I believe we can take a motion.
Just a question. If anyone's interested in accessing the Stewards of Children, how would they do so?
Please visit our website, ymcaocc.org. Again, it's completely free. There's a free, code on there that you plug in when you take the training. We offer virtual trainings and in-person trainings. You can take this from the comfort of your own home.
Thank you.
Commissioners, if I may just add, I can't help myself sometimes, but add a few things. So just to bring further awareness, one thing we did a little bit different this year is you will notice by the entry to the Willow Bank building, we do have a sign that is just drawing attention to the fact that this is Child Abuse Awareness Month. And we do have some flags out there that represent our substantiated reports this year. So the reports are actually from 2022, so there's our 2022 data, as we're still finalizing 2023 data. But it kind of draws home we investigate between 1,500 and 1,800 reports a year of child abuse and neglect, or what we call our general protective services referrals. To rise to the level of substantiation, there are very specific criteria to meet, but it doesn't mean we're not investigating those things. And so kind of going back to your point and making sure that if you have concerns for a child, you're making that report, letting us do the investigation, determining if it reaches that criteria, but bringing that child to our attention, because we can't investigate the things that we don't know are happening. And so Childline is the easiest way to make that report, but certainly welcome to call into our office, and we can take the information from there, whichever works better for the referral source. We will take it however we can get it, as long as we can get attention to that child.
Thank you.
Great, thanks for the additional information. Unless there's anything else, I believe we could take a motion.
I will move to adopt Proclamation 16 of 2024, proclaiming April 2024 Child Abuse Prevention Month in Center County.
And I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Proclamation 16, proclaiming April as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Center County. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Come on up. We'll take a photo.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks. As always. Come on up.
Senator
Move this way a little bit. Let the center go.
Thank you.
All right, now we move to the beginning of page 2 of 5, the bids and proposals. I'm assuming we're going to have a lot of public comment for this. I just want to mention, first of all, there's a 5-minute limit per speaker. And second, we know there's a lot of supporters here, so if you're pretty much just going to be repeating what somebody before you said, just say, I support the prior speaker, maybe add a sentence or two, and then sit down. Because we do need to work through a lot of items today. So we have Glenn, the warden of the Center County Correctional Facility here to talk about a request for qualifications to perform a Center County Correctional Facility outdoor area feasibility study and analysis. This has been recommended to the Board of Commissioners by the Prison Board of Inspectors. We've held numerous public meetings on the topic, received some very solid feedback from citizens, and incorporated those comments into this request for qualifications. Glenn, if you give us a little more background detail.
You took all my comments.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Just going it off the cuff.
That's okay. Yeah. Just to reiterate, the RFQ that's before you today is for a feasibility study for outdoor recreation areas, pre-construction, staffing, safety, and a security analysis for the recreation areas at the Center County Correctional Facility. Recently, the Prison Board of Inspectors approved to recommend the RFQ be submitted to the Board of Commissioners. As all county property comes under the purview of the Board of Commissioners, I'm presenting this morning on behalf of the Prison Board for the Board of Commissioners to consider. The RFQ has been reviewed by the county solicitor and has received our okay with all the wording that's in it. And as Commissioner Higgins said, we've had many public meetings on this. Those meetings have been recorded and are available to watch on YouTube if you choose to watch them. We have some dates, if approved, to keep the RFQ flowing. Controller Moser provided us with dates. I know it'll, depending on what happens today, it'll go to next week's meeting as well.
I think, Glenn, traditionally we give it about a month between actually putting the request for a qualification or proposal or quote out there and receiving the responses.
Yeah, Controller Moser gave us the dates. If everything's approved and pushed next week, it'll be issued to the public. There's a time period for available prospective companies to submit questions to Mr. Franek and myself. Those questions will be responded to on April 26th. All RFQ responses are due to Mr. Moser, the controller, on May 10th by 4 p.m. So.
All right, and this is a standard process that we follow for a broad variety of requests for qualifications, including other construction projects, new services, et cetera.
Yes.
All right. So I think we'll, should we go with open questions at this point or do comments?
Maybe let the commissioners.
All right, we'll go with some quick comments from the commissioners, and then we'll open it to the public. And when you do come to the podium, please mention your name and your municipality. If you don't know which township you live in, you can just say Bellefonte State College, that's fine. Commissioner Concepcion.
Yeah, so I think this is a good approach to a concern that many people in the community have brought to the prison board in terms of the accessibility of outdoor space or being able to have some recreation in the outdoors for inmates at the Center County Correctional Facility. I think it's important to note, that while, the state of Pennsylvania permits exactly the kind of recreation facilities we do have in our Center County Correctional Facility, what this RFQ is doing is trying to get some expertise, some analysis to help us see ways that we might be able to improve the spaces we have. That goes beyond, our thinking that we have here internally to the county. And hopefully we'll get some responses from some firms that will bring some good thinking and ideas to us. So, thanks.
All right, Commissioner Dershowitz.
I think Amber stated it quite eloquently. I think we're curious to see what the available process would be and what the costs are, and a lot of the conversation that goes around it. And I think this RFQ will hopefully answer some of those questions when we get answers back.
Great. All right. So we do have the comments now from the commissioners. And thanks for your help, Glenn. Maybe you want to sit up there in case we end up with some highly specific questions that the commissioners can't answer, because, again, while you're our largest or second largest department within county government, you're still one of 52 different areas that the commissioners work on. So we'll open it up here for comments on outdoor recreation. Again, approach the podium, name, township, your best guess as to what area you live in, and 5 minutes or less. And like we said, if you're supporting prior speakers, just say that so we can move on to the other business.
All right, thank you. My name's Jenna Henry. I live in State College Borough. I'm the director of Central PA United. I want to start by saying thank you for the previous resolutions that you passed as a survivor of both child abuse and sexual assault. I understand how important awareness on those issues are. And, with that said, also, thank you for doing this RFQ, bringing it forward. Again, as a survivor of complex trauma, I ended up incarcerated because that's what ends up happening to a lot of people who survive childhood trauma and other types of trauma in their life, because there just aren't a lot of resources available for people. And I can tell you from experience, the stories of the people who are incarcerated in Center County Correctional Facility will break your heart. They are oftentimes very traumatized people who need every bit of rehabilitation and therapy that they can get. A huge part of my treatment of my trauma is just going outside, right? I spend a lot of my time, particularly in the summer, in the mountains, just kind of vibing with nature. It's been the single most important thing that I've needed to do in order to address my trauma. Well, that and therapy helps a lot too. But going outside is just, if I don't get outside, I immediately notice it in my mental health. My mental health suffers in the wintertime when I can't get outside. That's how important this is. Not going to stand up here and kind of belabor all the points that have already been made. Just wanted to make that one specific point and say thank you, and I hope that you will pass this RFQ.
Great. Thanks, Jenna. Who'd like to go next?
Hello, I'm Ken Klein-Smelter. I live in Harris Township. Thank you for taking this important step towards improving the mental and physical health of incarcerated persons at Center County Correctional Facility. We know that this is only a first, even preliminary step, but we are grateful that you recognize this major gap in the humane treatment of our fellow citizens, and that you have responded to those of us encouraging the county to provide outdoor rec at the prison. We will support you in making this study and in spending our county's funds in this endeavor. It's the right thing to do. Thank you for doing it.
Thank you, Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
Who would like to go next?
Hello, Commissioners. Hello, everyone. My name is Jonathan Bojan. I'm a resident of the State College Borough. Over the past quite a few years, at least 8 years now, I have been focusing part of my work as a freelance musician in researching community art therapy modalities. And in part of that work, I did a stint at CCYC. I brought a music therapy program into the youth detention facility, and in the years before that, I spent quite a bit of time working with the local prison advocate Marie Hamilton. I took her nonviolent communication and mediation courses, and I'm probably going to see her again this week, and I'll look forward to telling her about this project that she's been advocating for so many years. And my time at CCYC taught me how challenging it is to care for those who are in the correctional system. The kids at CCYC, they told me when I went in there, it's like, these kids are not in there for stealing candy bars, and it was what surprised me even more than the things that went on with the kids, but with the things that went on with the staff. Marie warned me how challenging it was going to be at CCYC, and it was. And the staff had as hard of a time. I had an easier time relating to the kids and bringing them into drumming and creative activities than the staff. The staff really, really struggled because of how hard it was to keep that place running and safe. So, believe you me, I among many others in this area, we understand how difficult a program like this is to implement, and we also understand how critical it is. That the process of teaching people to re-regulate their emotional systems, where, as Jenna said, people have undergone extremely complex trauma, and even in Marie's program, she taught us, some people just need to be restrained, that they're not ready to be helped. And yet, I know from living in this community my entire life, this community has incredible compassion, incredible resources, incredible intellect, and also incredible will to help. And I think more than anywhere that I've been in my life, I think this community has a potential to cultivate a prison system where we can support our staff in supporting our incarcerated, and in supporting our incarcerated in being able to get to a better place. Another really important advocate of those with trauma is the famous Bessel van der Kolk. He's very respected in the therapy fields right now, and he said in his book, The Body Keeps the Score, that the single most important factor in his decades of research on trauma, the single most important factor in PTSD recovery is being in a very strong support network, where you can feel, someone bigger and stronger than me is going to be able to help take care of things. And while a lot of times our incarcerated can be the source of their own problems and the problems for other people, they can begin to realize that they don't always have to be reacting when they're in a support system that can support them. And I really think outdoor recreation, if we can find a way to do this, this would be really, really huge for them. This would be a really huge way to show our incarcerated that we are bigger and stronger as a community, that we can help them get to a better place individually, and even though they may have issues themselves, we are the kind of community where healing can happen. I realize this is challenging, it's complex, and I know we can do it. So thank you everyone for your effort towards this, and then I cede the floor. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Jonathan. Who would like to go next?
Good morning. Sue Smith, College Township, Village of Lamont. I always have to say that. I've been attending meetings for quite a while about the prison, and when you mentioned cost, let me just say that when I see the numbers, the amounts of money that are being spent at Center County Prison for mental health care, Sunshine would be much cheaper. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, Sue. Who would like to go next? All right.
Hi, I'm Connor Henderson, a resident of Ferguson Township. First I just wanted to again thank the commissioners as well as the members of the prison board and the county staff, everyone who's kind of worked to put this together. I just wanted to make a couple points. Number one, just working with the Coalition for Outdoor Rec and a lot of these lovely folks and kind of reaching out to people in the community was a really great experience that was really a key to making this happen. And I think what we all kind of found was when people are informed and know kind of what's going on, and know, the situation, know more about the situation in CCCF and what things are like. They're very supportive of a solution that will bring Outdoor Rec to those folks. And it seemed like the vast majority of people that we talked to, even if they knew nothing about it, kind of going in, they were really supportive. And I think we're going to all kind of keep talking about it and as this process moves forward. And the other thing that I appreciate, Ken mentioned that this is the right thing to do, and I think I also appreciate through this process that we're kind of doing it the right way. We're to do a really kind of thorough process to understand what is the right solution. An enduring solution that will actually fit and be usable by the CCF staff and really solve the problem. And I think also doing it the right way by involving the community and getting feedback and incorporating that into, for example, in this document, including experience with restorative justice, trauma-informed care, landscape architecture, environmental psychology, all of those kind of expertises, having that as kind of in that number one experience item when evaluating who's going to be doing this work. I think that's really important, and that I think kind of came out of some community feedback. So just continuing to engage the community in this process, I think. I'm just glad it's being done the right way, and I really look forward to kind of the next step of this process. But thank you for your support of this, and thank you.
Great. Thanks, Connor. Who would like to go next? Come on up.
Hi there, Ben Bainey, State College Borough. Lifelong resident of State College, grew up in State College, dad from Bellefonte, mom from State College, so lots of ties to the area. I echo a lot of what has already been said, so I'm not going to go over that. I just want to reiterate from my point of view, this is for everyone. It's not just for the prisoners. It's not just for the people incarcerated. It's for the prison guards that maybe will have an easier time. It's for the people that are the victims of crimes that might not, there's a better chance of them not having the crimes committed against them once those prisoners are out. That's my view. And I think this is like part of our community. I want State College and Center County and Bellefonte, those are my homes. I want us to shine. I want us to stand out. And I want us to stand out in a way that how we treat people. I want us to be a community that treats people better than any other community. So to me, that's what this is about. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Ben. Who'd like to go next?
Matt Herndon, State College Borough. I'm going to follow your suggestion from earlier and simply say I support the previous comments. People in State College and Center County should have access to sunshine and fresh air.
Oh, great. Thanks, Matt. Who'd like to go next?
Laura Egan, College Township. I will follow the prior lead and say that I also support our previous speakers. Thank you for support of this project. And I hope that it will continue and we'll find a solution that works for everybody.
Great. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Ashley Hamlin in Patton Township, and thank you so much for listening to the community and for allowing this RFQ to get to this step. And I also support the previous speakers and hope that you will vote for the RFQ. Thanks.
Thank you. Bring up our next speaker.
Hi, I'm Janet Ironson. I live in State College Borough. I'm also active in the Prison Society. Some of us here may know that the original plans for Center County Correctional Facility did include outdoor yards for all of the pods. They even went so far as to put a bid out for the fencing, and something came along. I still don't know quite what happened, but they decided that it cost too much. So this is not about whether it's feasible. It's about finding a way to make it happen now and correcting a mistake that happened almost 20 years ago.
Great, thank you, Janet. Next speaker.
Hi, I'm Robert Ziegler. I live in Milheim Borough. I think I travel further than everyone else here. First of all, good morning, and thank you for letting me speak. Secondly, I understand, as I'm a local leader as well, how hard it can be to make decisions to make progress and move forward with things. I wanted to highlight a few things from that aspect. In the business realm, you have laggers, you have people that maintain the status quo, and you have leaders. And I think what this brings about is a big opportunity to be a leader, not just in the area, but in the state. We have an opportunity to become better than we currently are. We have an opportunity to take people, a group of people that are considered to be less than human. The humanity is taken away from those who are incarcerated or formerly incarcerated quite often. And we have an opportunity to help them be treated humanely with being able to have direct sunlight, which is a luxury that we all get to experience now. And it does do things chemically to you. It makes you happier, just naturally. It makes you more agreeable, makes you more willing to engage with people. It makes you more socially adept. And, I think with this, we have an opportunity to become better than we currently are. And as local leaders, we have the luxury of trying to figure out how to make it so that things are like, oh, that's not possible to do. We have the opportunity to figure out a way to make it happen. And to me, the most unpatriotic thing that people could say is that we can't do it. We can find a way to do it. And you guys are taking the first steps to do that. Thank you for that. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robert. Who'd like to speak next?
I just would like to challenge the distance traveled. I traveled from Du Bois, Pennsylvania to be here. And I just want to say that I fully support what you're doing, and I have great admiration for you, and it means so much to me that I was willing to travel over an hour to be here this morning. So, yeah, please give these people that are incarcerated, give them some humanity, show them humanity and respect and care that they deserve to. And thank you.
You're welcome. Who'd like to speak next? Okay. Anybody out in the hallway? Oh, wait, here we go. Well, if you're out in the hallway, come on forward.
Nancy Rommel from Ferguson Township, and I just support what everybody has said here. I also want to thank all of you for listening to us and your hard work in preparing the RFQ. It's really important, it's well written, and it's exciting to think what creative things will happen out of it. So thank you again.
Thank you, Nancy.
The hallway people are good.
The hallway people are good. Thank you for checking, Natalie. All right, anybody else here in the audience? Going once, going twice. All right, we will, any additional comments from the other two commissioners? No? All right, we'll mention quickly that 12 years ago, the Center County Correctional Facility had 250 to 260 returning citizens in it on an average day, and I think yesterday, Glenn, it was 106?
106, I believe it was.
Yes,
Correct for yesterday.
and we've been holding something close to between 100 and 125 now for multiple months. Would like to thank the staff at the Center County Correctional Facility, the mental health counselors, the mental health department here in Center County, and of course the many centerpiece and the many, many, many volunteers who assist there, and the large number of local employers who not only employ the returning citizens, but we know in two cases they're now slotting those individuals for management trainee
Yes.
positions. So, if you are a local employer And, you got to realize that about half of the individuals at this facility will be back out in the community in 60 days. So they are available to work, and if they leave the facility with a job, they're probably not coming back. So appreciate that. All right, unless there's anything else, I believe we could take a motion in a second.
Okay, I will move to approve the advertisement of the request for qualifications for the Center County Correctional Facility Outdoor Recreation Feasibility Study and Analysis.
I will second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the advertisement of the request for qualifications for the Center County Correctional Facility Outdoor Recreation Feasibility Study and Analysis. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries, I believe unanimously. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Any questions? Any questions from the press?
Is this a proposal for one area for the prison or one for each pod?
That's what part of this study will do. We're gonna let whoever the selected firm is come in, explore all the options, and then present that to us as a final product.
Thank you.
Good question, Gary. Yeah, it's pretty much a clean slate on this thing. Any other questions from the press? I know we ended up with a press person out in the hallway. Any questions there? No? All right.
Mark, I would just like to make a comment. You had mentioned a few of the folks that were part of the team that makes our jail population
Yeah,
go. I
probably
really
miss
would like to
somebody. It's
say,
a big team.
Well, I think our judicial system.
Oh, yes.
And our,
DA.
our
Oh,
district
yeah.
attorney and our probation department has worked
Yes.
very, very tirelessly to make sure that we have the best tuned
Yes.
system we can. And it really is, it kind of stands in contrast to many other areas that don't
Yes.
have that same luxury of those successful numbers. And I just think we need to give them the props that are due, so.
You are totally correct on that, Steve.
Agreed.
Yeah, the entire judicial system is also a huge part of this. All the different specialty courts that the commissioners have funded, but then the Court of Common Pleas judges have done the extra work with no additional pay and at least no additional direct secretarial staff, so.
And that's actually where I was going to go
Yeah.
with this whole conversation. You know, we have a mental health court, a drug court, the DUI court.
Yeah.
And those are all done as extra programs from our judges, and they've really stepped up to make
Yes.
sure we probably have some of the fewest, by number, the fewest
Yeah.
judges for a county of our size in the state. And we have judges that work hard and make it very successful. Just want to again give them the credit we're going
Yes.
to do.
And don't forget, we now have the Regional Veterans Court
And
that's
that.
underway. So I believe that's every possible type of court, specialty court.
Be careful what you
Be
wish
careful.
for.
Well, yeah. But I believe that's roughly every type of specialty court
careful
that
what you
counties in Pennsylvania are able to. Regional Veterans Court. With Center County already having the 3 specialty courts, and some of our surrounding counties also having at least 1 or 2 specialty courts of their own, the number of veterans where their issue is not, say, DUI or mental health or the drug situation is small. And so we just do not have enough criminal justice service involved veterans just in Center County to dedicate a single judge to it. So it's covering, do you know off the top of your head, Glenn, how many counties? It was a number.
I think it's Clinton, Center, Clearfield,
I think there was at least one other. in there.
Perry, maybe. There's
Yeah.
5 or 6 counties.
Elk County's in
Yeah.
there. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, it was a bunch.
There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Where does the judge go?
It depends.
It depends.
It's on floats amongst those
Yeah.
counties.
Yeah, so it'll literally move from county to county depending on who has veterans available at the time.
It's
who fit
in
the
its
court.
infancy, so stay tuned.
Yes. Still working on it, work in progress. All right. If there are no additional questions from the press, we'll move on to Section 9, contracts, of which we have quite a number. Maybe we'll
Thanks
give
for
a
coming
minute
out.
here for the room to mostly clear out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Room having cleared out, we'll move on to emergency communications. Norm has a contract for us.
Good morning. Requesting your approval of a contract with Comcast Business to provide a standalone internet connection for our SAC Regional CAD. This internet connection will provide additional network separation from existing county networks, provide additional internet connection for mobile CAD, message options, and messaging options, and connectivity to other CAD services. Center County will hold the contract and be the fiduciary for the region. The monthly costs will be equally dispersed among SAC Regional CAD partners and will be funded by PEMA grant funds. The contract total is $6,829.31 for the period of May 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2026.
So to unpack all the abbreviations, I believe SAC is Southern Alleghenies
911 Consortium.
911 Consortium, covering Center County and the counties immediately to our south and maybe I think a little bit westish.
Blair, Huntington, Bedford, and Fulton.
Yep. And then CAD is not computer-aided design, it's computer-aided dispatch.
Correct.
Which has, what are we up to, well over 30,000 addresses in Center County that are all pinpointed exactly, so that when you call and when the 911 dispatches the emergency responders, they know exactly where they're going.
Yeah, and that data is for all 5 counties too. Every county has identical CAD data.
And this will allow them to operate together during major emergencies.
Yeah, it'll allow us to have more interoperability, plus again, separate the county network.
Yeah.
So there's not trying to figure out how all the network connections go, so.
Always nice to see the work we do at the state level with the 911 Advisory Board actually now positively impacting Center County and the other counties we partner with.
Yes, that's correct. This also gives a little more cybersecurity safety too,
Yeah.
so.
Great. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
No, thanks for this.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
No.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, I will move to add the contract with Comcast Business to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract with Comcast Business to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Norm. Appreciate it. Now, John has a capital project items for us.
Good morning, Commissioners. Before you for consideration is a proposal with the Bureau of Veritas National Elevator Inspection Services to provide consulting services for the 3 elevators here in the Willow Bank. There's some equipment that needs upgraded, and through this proposal, the Bureau will come in and perform an equipment survey of the existing conditions, then spec out a recommended reconfiguration and upgrade of the system, and then they are also would provide bid assistance and construction services on a per site visit, and they are estimating 3 visits. So we are seeking approval of the proposal with the Bureau of Veritas.
All right. Great. Thanks, John. Any questions from either commissioner on this one? No?
It's important to have functioning elevators.
Very important.
Yeah, nobody wants to be stuck in the elevator
Yeah.
here. So. I will move to approve the proposal with Bureau Veritas National Elevator Inspection Services.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the proposal with Bureau of Veritas National Elevator Inspections Services. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thank you, John. And then I believe Glenn has an item for us.
That's me.
Oh, back to John then. Okay.
Yeah, again, it's a similar situation. The controller equipment at the correctional facility for the generator is getting to the point where it will not be supported in the future. So we are seeking approval of a proposal with Cleveland Brothers. They will come in and upgrade and upfit the generator with the controller. Basically, if the power goes out, there's a control system that basically automatically kicks in the generator, which provides power to critical systems within the facility. So we are trying to do a preventative maintenance matter here before we have to react to a situation.
Yeah, lots of critical systems there. Any questions?
Good to keep on top of
Either
it.
commissioner?
It's a 24/7 facility that we need to
Yeah.
maintain operation.
Yeah.
I'll move to approve the proposal with Cleveland Brothers Equipment Company Incorporated.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the proposal with Cleveland Brothers Equipment Company, Inc. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And now, moving on to Human Services. Dave in Transportation has, I believe, 4 items for us.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me here. I come and ask for consideration for the approval to purchase some vehicles for the paratransit fleet. The first one being a 2024 Ford Transit all-wheel drive vehicle, handicap equipped, of course, lift equipped, from Roar Bus for $120,372. The second one would be a 2024 Chrysler Pacifica touring vehicle. It's a lift-equipped minivan, again from Roar Bus, for $65,278. And then there would be 2 Ford E450 cutaway vans. They are 12-passenger, handicap-equipped. They can actually hold up to 4 wheelchairs in those vans. We've been buying them lately with the extra wheelchair spaces with the flip-down seats, and gives us the ability to haul multiple wheelchairs as needed. Those vans are each $118,170. Total cost on the 2 would be $236,340, and they would be from Coach Bus Sales. All
Dave, before you,
Yes.
what's a cutaway van? What's the
Well,
cutaway part?
it's, they take the chassis and they build the box like on the 12-passenger vans.
Okay.
And that's why they call them cutaways. You basically buy the chassis with nothing else.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
And they call them the
So
cutaways.
just the front part and the
Yeah.
high beams in the
Yep.
back.
They
You
build
buy
the
the
rest of it.
chassis and the engine and all that.
Okay.
and It goes to the Coach Bus Sales factory, and they build the chassis as you want it, the height, the dimensions, and all the specs. So, yeah, yep. But these are all funded, by the way, through a transportation grant from PennDOT. It's called a CTC grant. The total amount of the 4 vehicles on that grant would be $421,990, and they are fully funded to the county. Once we place the order, it takes about 3 to 4 months. So, and in most cases, once we receive the new vans, then we take the old vans out of service that they were designated to replace and get rid of those and stop any upkeep and any extra money on those. So those 4 are all with the grant. And did you want me to address the other purchase as well?
Do address the last one.
It's considered to approve a purchase of a 2024 Ford Police Interceptor, Ford Explorer, all-wheel drive, through the CoStars from Stuckey Ford for $41,922. And then we would equip it with a cage that costs $31,5712. So the total cost on that vehicle would be $45,079.12. It would be put into use at the county correctional facility and replace a vehicle that has met its useful life. You know, we've got older vehicles that just every now and then they break down and they have an issue, and we're in a position where we're able to get one that's readily available. And the Interceptors cost basically the same as buying a regular Explorer, so they're more heavy-duty made, and they have the type of everything that we want in that vehicle for the needs that they have. So,
And I guess it's for prisoner transport.
Yes,
It's important to
yes.
have Very reliable vehicles in
yeah,
that regard.
Glenn can address any questions related to it, but they use it for prisoner transports to and from the hospital, and various locations, and occasionally, if there's a group of them have to go to a meeting, they might take a vehicle, but they need ready vehicles available there at all times, so, yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Great, and we'd definitely like to thank PennDOT, the governor, and our state legislators
Yes.
for the grant to purchase the 4 vehicles for the county paratransit fleet.
Yes.
Is any of that lottery money?
Yes, sir. You
There you
betcha.
go.
You
Keep
betcha.
playing those Mega
Keep
Millions.
playing the lottery.
All right.
Yep, Mega Millions is over $1 billion, so go
There
play
you
it.
go.
And it's funny you talked about the elevators. I was upstairs doing interviews a few years back, and I come out to leave, and the doors were open this wide, and there was a lady stuck in there. The elevator doors wouldn't close, so I actually made a rescue that day, and we got her off the elevator
Sounds like you-
and got her down safely, but,
All right, well, thank you for that.
yeah, so every now and then things happen,
Uh-huh.
but, yeah, so it's great that you're addressing that as well, sure.
Great. Commissioner Concepcion, any comments?
Yeah, so as they're cycling some of these vehicles out, they go to sale then, that
Yes.
people can bid on those essentially?
Yeah, we've come into a pretty good opportunity there the last couple of years. We take them down to the Central Pennsylvania Auto Auction in Mill Hall, and they sell them for us. It's simple, seamless, easy. I come back with the check that day
Yeah.
and hand to the county treasurer for deposit. We don't have to wait for somebody to come from far away and maybe not show up and take it. And we did the online auctions, and initially they were great, but then it just tailed off to where we would offer 10 vehicles and only 5 would be taken. So we had this opportunity. We've done it twice now. I actually have other counties now doing it through there because of the success we've had. So I know Commissioner Dersham's been there to see the operation, and I think it's a great thing. So that way, everybody can bid on them. You know, we're obligated to offer them to everyone, and it's a public auction that day that they have, and anybody can go bid.
Great.
So
Great.
and that'll probably be September.
All right.
Until
Okay,
we're,
good to know.
Yeah.
we'll probably liquidate again in September is what we're looking at, yes.
All right.
Right now I have 10 vehicles, and once we get these vehicles and rotated, we'll probably have maybe 15 or so, hopefully. Yeah,
Great.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks. Unless there's anything else, I think we could take a motion.
I'll move to approve transportation items 1 through 4.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to approve the 4 items for transportation. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any questions from the press on that? No? All right. Great. Thank you, Dave. Now we have an item for MHIDEI, drug and alcohol, and Kathy will cover that.
Good morning. I'm here today to ask that the board consider approving an application submission and then the subsequent attestation form for the Center County Drug and Alcohol Office to participate as the recognized entity, as one of several recognized entities for Center County through the Pennsylvania Overdose Prevention Program. This would allow the Drug and Alcohol Office to offer free naloxone and testing strips that we would receive from the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency and provide them to individuals and families, community organizations, and first responders, along with educational materials, trainings, and access to treatment services. Previously, this was done through the central coordinating entity, which was Dr. Cassandra Bodai at the emergency room. The Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency has changed the process by requiring that the recognized entity do community events and provide the testing strips and be more involved community-wide. And so Dr. Bodai is not able to extend herself to all of the requirements that are now attached to being a recognized entity. So what she has asked is if we would step up and assist her. She will continue to do as she always has by providing the naloxone, or Narcan as we know it, to all of the first responders and continue to be their educational support and dispensing and gathering the data and doing all that she has continued to do. She just needs us to be that that intermediate support with PCCD and handle the community events and the contacts with individuals, which we already do with the HOPE initiative and with our role as the Drug and Alcohol Office. So that seems like a real good relationship that we already have. And so we would continue to do that. The HOPE initiative is very interested in continuing its community events and its partnerships with community organizations. And so this would allow us to increase our educational footprint in the community and offer trainings and continue our outreach to encourage people to seek treatment.
Great, thank you very much, Kathy. Dr. Bade has been tremendous. We
Without a
appreciate
doubt.
everything she's done. Commissioner Concepcion, any comments?
Yeah, no, sounds good.
Commissioner Dershowitz, I know you've done a lot of work in this area.
Yeah, this is a long time coming, and this is the fantastic. I talked about this a couple years ago, and I know there was lots of obstacles at that point for us to just distribute Narcan. Applegate Recovery, I think, jumped on this very early and was very active in getting the Narcan dispensed. But one of the things that, just give this some thought, and I thought of this as I was sitting here, one of the challenges we have with dispensing Narcan throughout the community is we really don't have a solid handle as the number of saves or the number of applications that we have. You know, we have lots of people out there with Narcan boxes, but we don't know how many are actually being applied to saves. And if we could create some sort of maybe an anonymous hotline or something that people could call in and say, hey, we had a save, we had, you know, you don't need to give maybe just a municipality or you know, just some idea about what the numbers look like, because we here in Center County are very blessed with having some incredibly low overdose fatality numbers, but we don't know exactly how to pinpoint the success of that and really some of the factors involved. And I think that might be one of the factors that we could look at and see, hey, how many saves do we actually have? And,
I think that's one of
community
the
outreach would
that's
be
one of the
helpful.
things that we want to do is encourage people that if they use the Narcan, that they come back and get a replacement.
Right.
And we can track that when folks come back for a replacement. How did you use it? And were you
But a lot of folks probably are not going to be forthcoming with lots of specific data. But so I would hope that we would be able to create some sort of database that we would have for folks to just say, hey, look, I had a save. It was in Ferguson Township or Bellefonte Borough or State College or wherever.
We could do
And-
that.
Yeah. And that would be, I think, a very, very helpful metric for us to track, you know, where we stand in the battle against the opioids.
And I think the Hope Coalition could help us put that together.
Yeah.
Even a web
Excellent
form
idea.
might be-
Yeah.
Yeah, just some way of keeping track of the numbers of saves out there, and make it as inobtrusive as possible, but at the same time, it would be able to, you know, measure exactly the effectiveness of these programs.
That's a great idea.
Good point, Steve, and we're obviously overall doing a fabulous job here in Center County because we have the lowest overdose fatality rate per 100,000 residents by far in the Commonwealth. Knock on wood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's subject to revision.
Yes.
So let's keep working hard.
Yes. All right, unless there's anything else, I think we could take a motion.
I will move to approve the application and attestation with the Pennsylvania Overdose Prevention Program.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the application and attestation with the Pennsylvania Overdose Prevention Program. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Questions from the press on that? All right. Great. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
And now Julia has an item for adult services.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Before you, I am asking approval to submit the Emergency Rental Assistance Program 2, ERAP 2, reallocation form survey to the Department of Human Services. So essentially what we do here is Department of Human Services asks every county that's involved in ERAP, are you going to spend all of your money? Do you want more? Are you going to give some back? Essentially, we are asking you to sign the form that indicates that we are not asking for an additional allocation, nor are we expecting to send any money back. So we are good with what we have, and we were ready to proceed with what our allocation is.
Great, great. Well, I'm glad you and Faith and her team went through all the numbers and decided what the best course of action is.
Yes.
Great, thanks. Any questions from other commissioner on this?
Well, I think it's important that we note that some of the ERAP 2 money will be used for the affordable housing initiatives that we have, we're working on right now. So it extends just beyond emergency rental assistance. It will be involving programs that have long-term.
Correct, once we spend down the 75% of it. So once we spend the 75%, then we have access to the 25 to be able to do those kind of unique programs.
Yep.
Perfect, thank you.
Great.
I'll move to approve the submission of the Emergency Rental Assistance Program 2 reallocation form/survey to the Department of Human Services.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the submission of the Emergency Rental Assistance Program 2 reallocation to the Department of Human Services. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Julia. We have a sort of longish consent agenda, but I don't think there were any questions on it.
I'll move to approve this week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. All right, now we move to item 11, letters of support. We'll be considering the approval of a letter of support for the Rothrock Trail Alliance to apply for DCNR funding to continue the expanded Rothrock Trail system behind Muster Gap. Commissioner Concepcion and I and a number of other local stakeholders attended a meeting, I think it was last week, Thursday. I think Tim was there too, where they talked about roughly 52 miles of new sustainable trails that will connect the Muster Gap Trail Network to the Whipple Dam Trail Network, which is very exciting for some of our more adventurous hikers, long-distance runners, mountain bikers, and I believe there's even an equestrian component to it as well. And they'll also create some new hiking loops. Those of you who are active hikers around here are aware we have a lot of straight lines, a lot of out and backs. Not so much, I'll start here, but most everything I see for the whole hike will be new scenery. So those are the type of trails they'll be working on. And we did double check with the state. We are allowed to turn in multiple letters of support for this particular DCNR grant funding. Any additional questions or comments, Commissioner Concepcion?
Yeah, just a note that, in discussions with the Secretary of DCNR, this is something that the governor's office is looking at in terms of economic development, as well as sort of the public health benefits of outdoor recreation. So that this, knowing that having these kinds of trail systems often brings tourism to areas, like there's businesses that spring up in support of this kind of recreation. So it's both public health and environmental conservation and economic development. A lot of good things combined. So.
Good point, Sam. A lot of great new businesses cropping up on Route 45 through its entire length, in part due to all the recreational opportunities. Commissioner Dershowitz, anything else you'd like to add? All right.
Thank you.
Great. Any questions from the press on this? No? All right, we'll take a motion then.
I will move to approve the letter of support for the Rothrock Trail Alliance DCNR funding request.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the letter of support for the Rothrock Trail Alliance. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll move on to authorities, boards, and commissions. We have a reappointment of Deidre O'Sullivan to the Drug and Alcohol Planning Council from yesterday through March 31st of 2027, and the appointment of Heather Pringle to the MHID EI Advisory Board starting today through April 1st of 2027. Unless there's any questions or comments.
Yeah, I will say, as the liaison on the MHID EI Advisory Board, we're often seeking new membership. We're really grateful to Heather Pringle, who's the Special Education Director at State College School District, for volunteering to join the group. And we do have a process where we, meet with and talk with potential members. So anyone who's interested in joining, you can meet with the board, that advisory board, and get a sense of what's involved. So.
Great. We'll take a motion then.
I'll move to approve the ABC appointment and reappointment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the authorities, boards, and commission appointment and reappointment. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll move on to kind of a smallish check run with Commissioner Concepcion.
Yeah, what I'd like to highlight in our check run today is we have a number of checks associated with the Family Caregiver Support Program, which is a program operated out of our Office of Aging that provides financial support for families who are operating in a caregiver role, either for the aged or for children in their care. And with that, I will move to approve the check run dated March 28th, 2024.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the check run dated March 28th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. John, I'm hoping there's not an administrator's report. There is
Correct.
not. Okay. Move on to general reports and announcements. I believe Commissioner Concepcion has a voter registration report.
Yeah, I'll try to move through this quickly. First, I'd like to note that April 8th is the deadline to register to vote for the April 23rd election, so that's a week from today. You can register online at votespa.gov. And today we have 100,971 voters on our report in Center County. Of those, 42,245 are Democratic, 139 Green Party, 596 Libertarian, 13,923 have no affiliation, and 41,037 are registered Republican. All others, the smaller parties, comprise 3,031. Making up that total of 100,971. And that number is up 23 from last week's report. The party of the week this week is the Conservative Party. They have 7 registered voters in Center County. And our precinct of the week is Ferguson East. They vote at Ferguson Township Lions Park at 424 West Pine Grove Road in Pine Grove Mills. They have 1,577 registered voters. In the last election, 750 ballots were cast for a turnout of almost 48% turnout in that in that precinct. And we'd like to thank the Ferguson Township Lions for allowing the use of their space for our elections department. So that's the voter reg report.
Great. Thanks, Amber. Other announcements in addition to the deadline of registering by the 8th of April. Tuesday, April 16th at 5 p.m. is the deadline to request an absentee or mail-in ballot for the 2024 general primary election. John, do we have any executive sessions to report or to hold?
No executive sessions to hold, however, one to report. The Board of Commissioners met on March 28th from 1:22 p.m. to 1:33 p.m. to discuss personnel matter.
Great. Thank you, John. The remainder of our public meeting schedule, on Thursday, we have the Combined Salary Board and Board of Commissioners at 10 a.m. Next week, Tuesday, we have the Board of Commissioners at 10, and then the Board of Commissioners work session at 11. And then the following week, Thursday, April 11th, we have a Board of Elections meeting at 1 p.m. Do we have any questions from the press? No? All right. One of our longer meetings in quite a while. I believe unless there's anything else for the good of the order, we could take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn at 11:29. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.